Hi everybody. Now I know what you're probably thinking about the title. Gimsy, are you a fucking weeb? And a matter of fact, I am. So, I've written the next part of this series already. This was like an afterthought. Oh yeah, shit, I should probably write an origin story and release that before the actual story starts. So that's the reason why this is a little bit shorter than the next one, which is going to be coming out. So if you do enjoy this, shameless insert, subscribe here. Anyway, into the video. So, my character is called Sakuda Hikari, and they are a male. Hikari was born with a quirk he couldn't control. It is known as light speed and light speed perception. I will explain about his quirk. His quirk allows him to walk, jog, or run at the speed of light. His secondary quirk, as a result of his first quirk, has allowed him to gain the power to perceive things at the speed of light. There are some major flaws with this quirk. He's only able to use his quirk for 10 seconds. If he overuses his quirk, he'll fall asleep. The more he uses his quirk, the longer he sleeps. And the biggest flaw of all, his quirk destroys his muscles in his legs if he uses it longer than 2 seconds at a time. As a result of this, Hikari, in his early years, would often be in a wheelchair. While he would be in a wheelchair, he would see the other kids playing with their quirks together. But the worst was yet to come. When Hikari was 7 years old, his mother left him and his dad. Hikari's dad lost everything, even the house. So Hikari and his dad moved to his dad's parents' house. When they first moved there, Hikari's dad was just sitting around doing nothing. The only thing he would do is sit around and watch TV. But then he began changing. He secretly, or at least he tried to, leave the house around the morning or afternoon. But because of this, Hikari did not see much of his dad. When he saw his dad leaving the house and trying so hard, Hikari just couldn't be hindered by his stupid wheelchair. Like his dad always told him, heroes always face their dangers head on. That is the essence of a hero. When he heard these words, Hikari started getting rehabilitation. After not using his legs for so long, it took him a year to get used to walking again. After Hikari had gotten used to keeping his quirk deactivated while walking, jogging and running, Hikari began lifting weights, and he even put weights in his shoes to strengthen his legs' muscles. And he even went for 5-kilometer runs each morning, and at one point, he had a personal trainer keeping him motivated, but his dad didn't notice him. He was too busy with his work. But Hikari always looked up to Endeavor, the number 2 hero. He was the number 2 hero since the age of 20. As a name, he pushed forward and strived to be the best. Even though he could never be All Might, he always tried, which made Hikari motivated. When no one was looking, Hikari would try training with his quirk by activating it and then instantaneously deactivating his quirk, so he could get a better grasp of his power. Sometimes he would accidentally use his quirk too much, and his legs would be torn apart, and he'd be forced to stay in the hospital for months on end. But as a result of this, Hikari learnt how much percent he could use without getting his muscles torn apart. He could only use 10% of his quirk, which is about Mach 87,463, due to it just being enough for him to control. In the first year of middle school, it came to a shock for Hikari that his dad was moving to America, due to the lack of great support heroes in America. There were a few moments when they told him he was going to stay, but he ended up going to America. When Hikari was sitting next to his dad, waiting for the plane to come, Hikari's dad told Hikari something. Hikari, let me tell you something. Don't let the hero agency you're going to someday down, okay? Don't worry, I won't let any people down, Hikari replied. That's great to hear. There is one more thing I need to tell you. prove people wrong. Show them that their doubts are for naught. You got that? I'm gonna prove everyone wrong. Don't worry, I'll never give up, Dad. 5 minutes later, Hikari's dad left and boarded the plane. 2 years later, when Hikari was in his senior year of middle school, his mum rang and talked about how nice it would be to see him again, and if he would consider coming and living with her for now, due to his dad not being there. And then Hikari told his mum that he was going to try to take the entrance exam at UA. And then, to Hikari's shock, Hikari's mum started laughing. Then Hikari just hung up the phone on his mum. When Hikari told his grandparents that he was taking the entrance exam for UA, and to the delight of Hikari, his grandparents got excited and believed he would 100% pass the practical exam. All he needed to do was improve his intelligence. They told Hikari that he should work on studying due to it being his weakness, but Hikari thought it wouldn't really matter due to his quirk giving him a lot of time. The end-year exams were nearing in his middle school, and Hikari began to get nervous. He knew that he had the strength, but he wasn't too sure on his intelligence. When Hikari told people in his class that he was going to try to get into UA, they laughed. This was due to Hikari never actually telling people about his quirk. Therefore, everyone thought he was quirkless. But he is physically the strongest kid in their middle school, so no one thought that he was unfit, just unintelligent, and quirkless. The end of year exam in middle school was a struggle for Hikari. He ended up just passing the written exam, but he outclassed all his classmates in his class in the practical exam. Jeez, that's a lot of class. Hikari ended up placing in the top 10 due to his practical exams being the highest the school had ever seen, so that helped with his placement in this class. Hikari's grandparents were so proud, but they were also disappointed. They knew how hard Hikari studied, but he did quite poorly in the written exam. There was only 2 months left until the entrance exam for UA, so Hikari's grandparents made it their goal to smash as much information into Hikari's little brain as possible. 2 months later, when Hikari finally got to UA's entrance exam area, just stared off into the distance. So, I think that's the end so far. So, this is the end of the Origin thingy that I made. This was kind of like an afterthought. I totally forgot that I should probably do an Origin story before actually starting the main thingamajig. But, because I finished the next script part already, that will come out probably tomorrow. Probably. Depending on how lazy I am. But anyways, have an awesome day. And shameless insert subscribe here. Goodbye.